I need to get the job done.
Okay, get the job done.
My involvement in what I do is more based on a sense of public service, and that's why I've served in the military for over 16 years.
Today we have Alan Wong, our new supervisor for the Sunset District, San Francisco. Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Glad to be here.
So before we start the show, it's a little different than usual. We always talk about a topic. I want to explain a topic. But today I would like to explain who is Alan Wong and why you want to be a supervisor.
三藩市市長羅偉宣布正式任命黃兆倫為第4區，亦都即係日落區嘅市參事，並且喺今個星期一喺佢嘅母校林肯高中宣誓就職。
The Sunset is the community I love and the only home I've ever known. Serving as supervisor is the greatest honor of my life.
You grew up right here in Sunset, okay? And what's your childhood memory?
I remember when I was probably 2 or 3 years old, my parents would take me to Golden Gate Park where we would play in some of the wooden play structures in Golden Gate Park. And I had a lot of fun being there because as a kid, you just love to climb around and run around and play tag. And just also enjoying Chinese candies for some of the red bean jelly food. Some of my fondest memories is my sister sharing me red bean jelly snacks and being able to share that with her.
Sunset is considered a third location of Chinatown. That's what they say, right? Chinatown, and then people move out, and then the Richmond with Clement Street is the new Chinatown. And back in the 80s and 90s, which you're born around that time, and there is a lot of Chinese immigrant here. I just kind of look it up back before, I think the 60s and 70s. Sunset is 95% is white dominant area. I think Caucasian. Okay, so but fast forward to the 80s and 90s, and actually Asians 50%, and out of the 50%, 77% are Chinese. And that's how, at one point, Sunset was most Chinese populated area in the entire San Francisco at one point. If you look back, what's the main difference between now, compared now, and back then, as a kid?
Growing up, I think I saw a lot of Cantonese restaurants. I would go on Noriega and Terval and eat dim sum with my parents. And now I notice there's different food that's in the neighborhood. There's Sichuan food, there's xiaolongbao, there's hot pot.
Not Cantonese much dominant anymore.
So growing up, I saw the Cantonese food, but now I'm like, oh wow, this is new food. I thought I was Chinese, but now there's all this other Chinese food that I haven't tried before. So it's something new that I've discovered as the neighborhood's changed, and there's new food that's Chinese, also Chinese, coming into the neighborhood. So it's giving me an opportunity to explore different foods that are from different communities and regions in China.
And also, you went to a middle school in here, high school?
I went to Hoover Middle School and Lincoln High School. I really enjoyed going to Hoover. It was a school in the neighborhood that was so close to home. I think back then I was living near 21st and Noriega. Actually, I try to run up every day to school, or I'd run down when I'm going to the bus after school. So I'd take that as my exercise. I think a lot of families also, they move to the Sunset because they want their kids to go to schools in the neighborhood, to have a safe and clean neighborhood, and to build a family here and send their kids to good school. And so my mom, she worked very hard to get me and my brother into the schools that she wanted us to get into in the neighborhood. She would go to the school admissions office before we were assigned schools, and so she would make sure she did everything she could to get us into the school that she wanted us to be in.
Did you ever imagine you'll be in the office or in the city hall?
When I was in high school, I interned in Sunset District Supervisor Fiona Ma's office. And I was like, this is important work. So I don't think I imagined myself actually being the supervisor, but I think I was like, maybe someday I could do something like this and take on a leadership role. And obviously later on, I worked in the District 4 office as a legislative aide as well.
So, I mean, you always want to be a leader as well? I mean, when you're in high school?
I think that when my involvement in what I do is more based on a sense of public service. And that's why I've served in the military for over 16 years. That's why I've worked for the American Red Cross. That's why I've worked at City Hall.
You still in the military? Yes, you are. Okay. What makes you want to get into the office and you're helping a lot of supervisors all these times since high school and, college? But what makes you just from that and then you jump to Army?
When I was young, I saw the story about a colonel and his chaplain, and they were visiting soldiers that were in Iraq that were about to pass or had passed. And they wanted to be able to go back to their families and tell them that they saw them during their last moments. And I never thought about joining the military before that, but that really inspired me to just do my little part. And that's why I chose the Army National Guard, so that I could continue a civilian career, but at the same time be able to serve part-time and do my little part in the military. So serving in the military has been my longest lifelong commitment.
That's really good. That's really good. And what's your parents?
So both my parents are immigrants from Hong Kong. My dad, after he got here, he went to City College. He enrolled in City College's ESL program and also the culinary program. And he was able to become a hotel cook at the Grand Hyatt as a result. And with those $18, $20-something wages, he was able to support our family. And my mom was a homemaker, and I'm lucky to have had such supportive parents that worked so hard to get us into the Sunset and help me and my brother get into good schools.
So as your dad as work as a unit, what do you see what he worked and teach you about?
Yeah, my dad, he would go to the union hall for local to the hotel workers union, and he would go there and try to get as much work as he could. They would give him different assignments at different hotels, and he would take whatever work that he could. Eventually, he got some more stability, rose in seniority, was able to get a more regular job, but he still would seek assignments elsewhere to earn money for the family and get work. And so that really taught me about his ethics and working hard and supporting a family. Also, the getting involved in advocacy. So when I was young, he would take me out to picket lines in front of Marriott hotels. So that really got me involved and paying attention to the struggles of working class people.
And what was the reaction of your family, especially your parents, and though you're becoming a supervisor?
Yeah, I think when I let my parents know, they're very proud. At the same time, they're like your typical Asian parents, right? Not showing that much emotion, not sharing that much. And I think growing up, I actually rarely got to hug my parents, because that wasn't how in many Asian households how you show affection. And so I think that they're proud of me, but they're not necessarily overly affectionate or anything.
I want to kind of go back to the education part of it, okay? Why did Education City College become your early entry point of your public service?
City College is really important to my family. My dad, as I mentioned, he took City College to get his opportunity to support our family. My mom took ESL classes as well, and when she went there, she would feel much more confident and helped her integrate. And then for myself, when I was a high school student, I attended City College classes. City College helped me get the extra units to graduate from UC San Diego when I was just 19 years old with a bachelor's degree. And then when I was working at City Hall, I drafted the legislation to who guarantee a decade of free community college for all San Francisco residents and worked to expand city college classes into the neighborhood to place them at Wame School, where we were able to get classes for older adults, ESL, and math classes for high school students to take. So those classes were very popular in the neighborhood.
What kind of lessons you learn from there?
I think some things that I'm very proud of at City College is being an advocate to save our Cantonese program. I was able to pass a climate action plan for our college, and also working on the long-term stability of the institution. And there are times when I was successful and there are times when I failed, and I learned from that. And I'm glad that I was able to have that experience before stepping up to this role, because it made me a little bit more seasoned, a little bit more ready.
Now you're still a Californian Army National Guard, and also how that changed you become a leader, as what your roles right now. What did you learn from that as well?
I think the military is one of the places where you get the most training in leadership, and I've served in different roles. I've been a sergeant for JAG paralegals. JAG is Judge Advocate General, so we are supporting the military prosecutors in the military. And I remember when I first started being in the military, I actually was not comfortable telling people what to do. I think in the past I was used to being able to work on my own individual goals and achievement, but being able to direct a team and lead others was something that I had to learn. And the Army pushed me into different leadership roles where I had to do that. And then I became a military officer. I went through the Federal Army Officer Candidate School in Fort Benning, Georgia, and that school trained me how to be a leader at the front level of the military. And then I started as a military police platoon leader, where I led about 53 military police soldiers, and we were called up for various things, including wildfires. I was also called up and deployed to our state capital in Sacramento after the January 6th protests. When Biden was about to get inaugurated, we were sent to the state capitol to protect the state capitol from any sort of civil unrest.
So you're really good at responding to emergencies, and things just happen right away, and then you know how to act to it, right?
I need to get the job done.
Okay, get the job done.
And currently I'm a commander of a military public affairs, and so I'm in a higher leadership role, and I'm growing. And the military, the good thing that they do is they rotate officers in different leadership roles, so that way everybody is constantly growing, and your leadership development is ongoing, and you're being tested always, and you're never comfortable.
Never comfortable. Is it ongoing? How many more years, or there's no ending?
Since I'm a officer and I've already completed 6 years, my current contract is indefinite. It's just basically whenever I want to leave, then I might submit a request to resign my commission as an officer, but it's basically there's no end limits, and I'll continue doing it as long as I'm having fun and I think I'm doing good.
What was the moment that when you realized you had to step into a leadership role? Of course, the city hall.
About a year ago, some people were thinking that the current supervisor would most likely not be able to stay in office, and there were some people that were encouraging me to go for this position, but I still wasn't thinking about it. I was like, I've got my own life going. I have military training this year, and this is something that wasn't on my mind, but people kept bothering me about it over the past year. A lot of folks just were like, "Oh, Alan, you should go for it. You're qualified." And I was out on military training from July through September, and I still wasn't thinking about it. I was out of town. So a little bit after I came back, people continued to just encourage me. And then eventually there's a list of rumored people came out that were interested in the position. And then I saw a list, and then I thought, oh, I'm better qualified than all these people here. I should put my name in. And it all ended up working out in the end, and I was picked as the supervisor by the mayor's office.
Do you worry about anything or because sunset, because all these great highway thing and all that stuff? So do you worry or no?
I do. Things that were on the back of my mind were, oh wow, when you take this job, you also inherit some level of contentiousness and controversy because of what happened with the previous supervisors, and you're also sort of left with a mess.
Unfinished tasks.
Some different issues that have been unresolved that are still on the table waiting for me. But that issue came with the job.
Exactly, yeah. You take that, you have to take other stuff. What do you see or think differently after you took the job compared to before you take the job?
There weren't that many things that were unexpected. It's just that we have an enormous volume of people that want to meet with you, different people that have the issues that they're working on, and everybody wants a slice of your time to connect with you.
How many hours do you get?
It's all day. It's all day.
How many hours you can take a break the last couple of weeks, right?
Not really much time to take a break. So it's just always going.
Yeah, but you get the military training, so I know you can handle it. When we brought up Great Highway, it become on a city ballot or proposition. And now the Sunset residents, a lot of them disagree, and that's why the previous supervisor, have to resign or fire or things like that. And you probably have to face that now, and probably have to have answer because people are waiting for your answer.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm a very calm guy. Usually, I don't get so reactive to things. I like to listen, and I'm introspective, and I think that allows me to handle many situations without being confrontational, without being in a situation where things can get toxic, and I try to listen to everybody the best I can.
And the last question, if you can talk to your younger self, the kids, I'm going to refer back to the beginning, right? The kids that grow up in Sunset, right? What will you tell him about becoming a supervisor? Let's rewind back.
I would have wanted to take my Cantonese classes more seriously so I could be speaking better Cantonese on the show.
Yeah, I mean, that's why you protect the Cantonese, and then you kind of regret it. I need to protect that
Yes.
in college, right? In City College. I always want to welcome you back. If you have any questions and anything that want to talk to anybody in the city, especially the Chinese audience, and I would love to, talk with you again.
Sure, I'd be very happy to.
Thank you so much, and good luck, everything, and then look forward to next 4 years or 8 years from you, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you so much.